Hi everyone, today I have Anne-Marie with me who volunteered to be my beautiful model. In this video I speak about techniques that suit Anne-Marie's individual features, that helps in enhancing her eye shape and her cheekbones as well as her facial features. I hope you enjoy. Okay, we always start with nicely moisturized skin, not forgetting the eyes as well, so cleansed and moisturized skin. As I always say, flawless makeup begins with flawless skin. So I'm applying a primer. This is a mattifying primer all over the face. Not forgetting under the eyes. Look up for me please. And a primer for the eyelids. Now I'm applying foundation all over the face and the eyelids as well. Now Anne-Marie doesn't have any blemishes or pigmentation on her skin, which is quite lucky. So there's no color correction required. If you apply the foundation in a pressing motion rather than a circular motion, it presses the foundation into the pores and makes it look more natural. So bringing this out all the way to the hairline, not to forgetting near the ears and on the eyelids as well. I've left the area underneath the eyes out for now, and the reason for that is when I apply the eyeshadow, if it drops I can still remove it, and then I'll use a slightly lighter shade than her natural skin tone that I used all over the face. Now to set it all in place, we're applying translucent powder, and this is just a white translucent powder. So with the powder puff, apply the setting powder and gently press into the skin. There's a lot of oil glands on the eyelids, so they constantly produce oil. So it's important to apply a lot of powder onto them before applying the eyeshadow. To bring out Anne-Marie's green eyes, I'm going for earthy tones, the browns. Purple eyeshadow brings out green eyes beautifully as well. So I'm applying a natural toned eyeshadow all over the eyelids. And then I'm going in with a medium colored brown, and that's going to go in her crease, which is also called a transition shade sometimes, which is just underneath Anne-Marie's eye socket, so underneath the bone. So I'm applying that gently, and I'm not taking it all the way down here, because if I took it all the way down to where the bone ends, it'll make her eyes look saggy, and what we want to create is an uplifted look. So we are going to go this way. We'll focus on creating a look that will bring her eyes up and out. I'm going in with a smaller brush. Now applying a darker shade on the outside, and again going upwards and outwards towards her eyebrows in a diagonal line. And I'm going to create a laying down V kind of shape, that way to lift up her eyes. And I'm only starting on the outer corner rather than from the middle of her eyes. So this tutorial is obviously based on Anne-Marie's individual features. Now I'd like to draw a false crease for Anne-Marie. So if Anne-Marie can open your eyes for me please. What I'll do is I'll create a false crease just here, so slightly above where her eyes naturally crease. So this is the crease of her eyes, and I'm creating a false crease just over. And that will give you the illusion of a more open-eyed look, without lifting up the eyelids like that, because that won't give you a true indication. Because what happens if I applied it like that and I let go, it'll drop right down and it'll actually be hiding right under this crease right here. So that's why it's best to leave the skin relaxed, untaught, and apply it when the eyes are open. Now for Anne-Marie's eyelids, I'd like to go with a nice shimmery color, which is a golden color. Which now some people say stay away from shimmery eyeshadow after a certain age. I believe if it's done correctly and applied in the right spot, it can actually complement rather than age the skin. Now you can instantly see, even though her eyeshadow isn't blended in, when she opens her eyes, you can see that her eyes have instantly popped. Now applying the same eyeshadow in the inner corner of her eyes, and again that adds more brightness, and just underneath the eyebrows. Now we're going to use an eye pencil, kohl pencil, just to enhance Anne-Marie's eyes, which will make them again look bigger and brighter. So I'm applying that very roughly, just along the lash line, and for this I will pull up my lids upwards, because I want to get as close as possible to the lash line. And I'm only applying that to the outer corner of the eyes. Using kohl pencil rather than gel liner or liquid eyeliner will give you a more softer, more natural look. And I'm going to blend this out with black eyeshadow using a thin brush, again to make it look more blended and more natural. And underneath Anne-Marie's eyes, I'm going to apply the foundation now, because I'm quite happy with the eyeshadow. And then instead of using black under the eyes to define her eye shape, I'm going to use a nice brown color. Make sure you bring the foundation as close to the lash line as possible, please. So again, we're going to set this with translucent powder or setting powder. Okay, so now I'm going to use the eyeshadow to outline Anne-Marie's eyes. And I'm only applying that to the outer corners and connect it with the eyeshadow that's on the upper lid, so it doesn't look disconnected. And in the inner corners I'm going to use a shade similar to the gold that I used in the inner corners and on the top lid. That's not quite as golden. And then I blend it all in with the dark shade on the outside. Great, and finally I'm going to blend, making sure that the darkest shade is blended outwards, up and up rather than down. Now I'm going to define Anne-Marie's eyebrows. For Anne-Marie's eyebrows I'm just going to use a powder. I'm going for waterproof mascaras. Thank you. Apply from the top and then from the bottom up. There's no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to contouring. For her shape, rather than following the cheekbones, which naturally go down like this, I'm going to slightly make it more horizontal and upwards, and that gives her a more defined cheekbones. So when it comes to makeup, you don't follow up, you make up, right? That's why it's called makeup. And you don't have to go crazy with the contour. You want it to look more natural and more wearable. And always make sure it's nicely blended, please. Now for Anne-Marie's forehead, I'm just going to apply a little bit on the top, not on the sides, just on the top, because we want to lower the size of her forehead. And also, when we age, the eye is that it flattens out naturally. So if you apply contouring right on the hairline, it'll give it a more rounded effect. And then a teeny weeny bit on the nose, on each side of the nose. And then blusher on the apples of her cheeks. Without asking her to smile, I'm applying that, because what happens if you ask her to smile? Smile for me, please, Anne-Marie. See how this all gets lifted up, and she has lines here. When she relaxes, this will all drop down. And then you'll have gaps in the lines where you've applied the blusher. So it's best to leave it and then just go by visuals. So see where she needs it, rather than follow the old myth of smiling and applying it on the apples of your cheeks. And lastly, the lips. So I'm going to use the same powder puff that I used to press down the foundation and the setting powder with, and I'm going to press that on Anne-Marie's lips. I'm going to start off with outlining her lips. By the way, lips are like eyebrows. They're sisters, not twins. So one side of the lip always looks different to the other, and that's quite natural. So finally, once you're happy with the makeup, apply some fixing spray to ensure longevity. So this is the final look that we created on Anne-Marie. Now remember, the video and the technique applies to Anne-Marie's individual features. Please don't apply this to everyone else, because everyone's facial features naturally are different, and the age makes a difference as well in the application. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment or contact me. The details are below.